Hey everybody, I'm Chris. I'm the Blue Collar Beer Gentleman. I'm a fan of craft beers and I'm on an extremely limited budget. So I created this channel to give my impressions of craft beers, quality craft beers that I found usually around the $2 price range. And such is the case with today's selection. I paid a buck 99 for this 12-ounce bottle of the 39 degrees north blonde ale from Great Basin Brewing. Great Basin Brewing is out of Reno. That's right. I knew they were up somewhere up north. I didn't know whether it's Reno, Sparks, or Carson City, but they are out of Reno. This is their blonde ale, the Jewel of the Sierras, brewed and bottled by Great Basin Company in Reno, handcrafted with malt, hops, yeast, and water. That doesn't really tell you much. Brewed with hot summer days in mind, crisp, deliciously hopped and refreshing, this brew has flavors and aromas derived by a liberal use of dry hops. So there's the ins and outs of that. As you can tell, I'm a little behind on getting that one. And if you've not been to this channel before, um, I had a problem where I was overdoing my reviews, doing them way too many at a time and way too far ahead of time. So I'm trying to play some catch up. But soon I'm actually getting things in order, and I'm not going to have more than a month's worth of reviews on hand to ensure that I don't end up with beers that are completely out of season. Now this is, and the thing is, you might think that a summer ale is completely out of season, except I live in the desert, so November is very much like summer a lot of the places I've lived. Quick notes about this particular beer. Has a 4.9 ABV and 12 IBUs. Typically, American blondes come in between 3.8 and 5.5 on the ABV scale. So at 4.9, this is a little, let's say it's about mid level. Typically, they have between 15 and 28 IBUs. This one has 12, so it's actually low on the bitterness scale. Only one friend on Untapped has given it any kind of ranking. They give it a 3.5. So far, Untapped only has 873 rankings, and that gives it a cumulative score of 3.48. Beer Advocate has only 4 rankings, giving it a cumulative score of 3.56. A quick note about American Blondes. If you are looking for blondes in BJCP, that is Beer Judging Certification Program, and if you don't have that app on your phone, I highly suggest it because it's a great a resource to help you find the typical IBU, color, mouthfeel, ABV, history of the beer, and it lets you know about the variety, gives you the inside on the variety. Uh, Blondes, as it turned out, was a style created by craft brew pubs that couldn't make lagers, considered an entry-level craft beer. And basically, if you go and look up blondes, it says everything is medium: the mouthfeel, the color, the balance, the whole thing is medium. So basically, this is a lager for those who could not make lagers. If you couldn't do a bottom lagering beer, then there you have it. So anyway, blondes. I've never met anybody yet whose favorite variety is blonde. I've met a few people whose favorite variety is lager, and I'm not going to go so far as to say that that's a boring variety to have as your favorite, but anyway, um, I will not go so far as to say that. But blondes, I've never been a big fan of blonde. I very rarely do I give a blonde more than like a 3.5, and I'm usually being kind of generous with that. But I always try to keep an open mind too. So I think we should crack this bad boy open, get to drinking. Going to be using, ah, there we go. Trying to get it as un, undeformed as possible. Using my Venezia bottle opener my man Tony got me while he. Guys, somewhere along the way, this video got interrupted. I'm not exactly sure when. Um, I'm really not. I just noticed that it was paused, so I apologize for that. Once again, this is the beer. This is what it looks like. You are seeing about 2 to 3 shades darker than the actual beer itself. It has high carbonation, a very flimsy head, and had lots of malt and yeast on the bouquet. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there. I apologize. But let's get back to the beer. Okay, I'm going to describe that as probably a medium-low mouthfeel. Not much spikiness to it at all. There's no alcohol burn, and mostly what I do taste is maltiness. I gotta say, for a blonde, this is actually pretty good. I'm usually not that big a fan of blondes, as I said before. I hope it was in the video. I don't know. I don't know when exactly the video stopped, so or why, more importantly. But anyway, it did. Nice, clean flavor. Not too sweet. Not too hop forward. Only 12 IBUs. They did say they dry hopped it, which I think was exactly what this beer needed to mellow out the sweetness of the malt. Um, it is still a very malty beer. Don't get me wrong, but it's not super sweet malt like sometimes blondes can end up being. I gotta say, this is actually a pretty well made blonde, and because it is from Reno, and I'm down here in Las Vegas, this is it's almost local to call this beer local. I mean, it's almost local, coming out of Reno as it does. It's it's a very tempered sweetness. It's not overly hoppy. There's a little bit of hopness to it, but you're getting more hop as opposed to bitterness. Hops, I believe, can genuinely produce two flavors, one of which is bitter and the other one is actual hop flavor. Naturally, super hoppy makes it super bitter, but if you temper your hops just right with the malt, you can get an actual hop flavor out of it, like that hop juice. Sometimes it's referred to, and this is a great case of that. So, $1.99. If you're into blondes, I would highly recommend this beer. I think that's a good beer if you're a fan of blondes, or if you just have a greater appreciation for them than I do. I myself think this beer. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4.0 because I think it's very true to form. And the thing is, it's difficult to say textbook because, well, blonde is more less of a created variety and more of a handcrafted variety and more of a just sort of sprang into being variety. So I won't call it textbook, but I will say it's true to form. Just the right balance of malty sweetness and hoppy bitterness to make a really good, clean tasting beer. So guys, if you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, drink good beer and don't break the bank doing it. Cheers.